Hi guys, it's Sam and welcome back to our YouTube channel. And if you're new here, it's nice to meet you. Now, if you're interested in all things mortgages and property, then I highly suggest that you hit the subscribe button, as we're going to be here every Monday, hopefully every Monday, depending on diaries. But today's video is all about the exchanging of contracts. That was a bit weird the way I've just said that. But anyway, it's about exchange of contracts. What it is, what happens during the process, timescales, and all that sort of juicy stuff. So if you're a first-time buyer and want to know more, then stick around, let's zoom you in and get started. Exchange of contracts is when both parties sign and swap the contracts in relation to a property purchase. This is the point where you as the buyer will be asked to put down your deposit or send it over to the solicitor. This is a crucial stage of buying a home. Once the contracts are signed, you'll be legally bound to buy the home. If you wanted to pull out after this stage, you could be set to lose your deposit. It also protects you if the seller backs out of the deal too. Now, once the contracts are exchanged, you and the seller can agree that all important, what we've been waiting for, completion date. This is when you'll get the keys to the new home. So as part of this process, I'm going to try and break it down into 7 simple steps. Don't really ask me why I chose 7. I just like the number 7. Anyway, so number 1, a survey of a house is completed. The buyer and the seller has agreed on any repairs or a new price based on this. So if it's downvalued or the surveyor has pointed out that things need doing on the house. Number 2, the buyer has an offer for a mortgage confirmed. Number 3, the seller has gathered all the paperwork for the home, like an old land registry deeds, any building certificates on the house, documents that relate to the boiler when it was installed, that sort of thing. Number 4, the 2 solicitors set up a recorded phone call, any issues are addressed and added to the contract. The 5th is the seller's solicitor drafts up the contract and sends it back to the buyer's solicitor for them to then go and sign. Number 6, the contract is signed and sent back to the seller's solicitor. Don't know about you, but it feels like we're talking a lot about the word solicitor and a lot about the word seller, and it's all molded into one. But finally, number 7, both parties agree on a completion date. Now, the buyer's solicitor also arranges to send over the deposit to the seller, and where there's a mortgage concern, your solicitor will have already requested a drawdown of funds. There are factors that hold up the exchange of contracts in the process, and there are loads of them that we can go into, but we'll break down a couple of them for you. So if there's any ongoing issues like negotiating the price after a house survey, that might take a little bit back and forward. If you're still unclear what fixtures are included, whether it's white goods, the fridge is being left, any, pictures are on the walls or curtain poles and frames. If your solicitor isn't convinced of any concerns that are being addressed along the way, all these factors delay the sign of the contracts. There might be delays with the buyer or the seller. There are things the buyer needs to sort before the contracts can be exchanged, and a seller has several forms to fill out, and that might push them back as well if they're away, anything like that. So it might take a bit of time. Don't be that guy. If you get any forms that need filling out, get them done as soon as possible or as soon as you've been requested to do so. Whilst we're going to go into detail about completion, I think it's worth mentioning that the time between exchange of contracts and completion can vary dramatically, especially if your mates have bought houses. They'll all have different opinions of what's happened. Once the contracts are exchanged, it usually takes between 7 and 28 days to reach that completion date, but it can be longer or shorter depending on the buyer or seller's wishes. And it's common to have both exchange of contracts and completion happen at the same time, so you can go and get your keys the same day for your new home. Pretty neat. And I think at this point, my mind and your mind is probably scrambled with the words sellers, buyers, solicitors, exchange. It all becomes a bit of a scramble. So in short, there are plenty of things and forms along the way leading up to that exchange of contract point. The golden rule is to make sure that you're completing the forms as quickly as possible so you're not under pressure and your solicitor for any help in completing the forms. If you've got any questions in anything that I've just rambled on about in today's video, then please drop a comment below or give the team a quick call on 01925 573 328. And if you've enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. We'll see you next time.